Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on the child's attorney project. This video is mainly due to somebody requesting it. I really don't have a lot to say in the sense of child custody and divorce cases because in Nevada, our child attorney project is really only involved in abuse and neglect proceedings and possibly termination of parental rights proceedings. I'm pretty sure that they are involved in those cases too. I've never heard of a CAP attorney, child attorney project, C.A.P. I've never heard of a CAP attorney being involved in a divorce or in a child custody case in Nevada. Maybe there's a way to get them involved in your case in other states. In fact, if you're pretty sure of that, go ahead and post it in the comments below to let people know. But as far as I know, that doesn't happen. Sometimes I've heard of a case where abuse and neglect was brought up and I guess there was a child custody case or a divorce case that was already going at the same time. But really, from my understanding, is that it doesn't just all get lumped into the child custody case. A separate abuse and neglect case is opened up that runs parallel to whatever child custody case is already running. And in that case, maybe they consolidate the hearings and the same judge hears both issues for both cases. But really, the CAP attorney is only there because of the abuse and neglect proceedings. And at that point, if that case closes, the CAP attorney is off the case. That's my understanding. If anyone in Nevada can point out that I'm wrong, I'd be interested to know, because I've just never heard of a CAP attorney otherwise in any way, shape, or form being involved in a just an ordinary child custody case or divorce case. So what do? A CAP attorney is your child's attorney. They represent your child and only your child. They don't represent you or your ex, and they don't represent the government either. And their job is just to be a lawyer for the child. Figure out what the child wants and argue for that child. You know, use the law to try and get the child what he wants. My understanding is that the CAP attorney isn't necessarily supposed to override their client child. In other words, I don't think that they're supposed to ignore their child's wishes and argue something else just because they think it's better for the child. But I do think that they can mention that in court. I do believe that they can say, you know, this is what the child wants, and here are the points and authorities to support what the child wants, even though maybe this isn't the best thing for the child. That's what they want, and here's why they should have it. I think they can sort of offhandedly mention that, but uh, that's the best I can give you on CAP attorneys. They're usually free. I haven't heard of anyone ever having to pay for a CAP attorney. I mean, the child doesn't have any money. I've never heard of parents having to pay for the CAP attorney, though maybe that possibly happens. That would be another thing to comment on in the comments below if that happens to be the case. My understanding also is that CAP attorneys, at least in Nevada, seem to come from some kind of like a government office. I don't believe they're just private lawyers, but maybe it's possible. And again, I really I haven't looked into this very carefully. It's possible that perhaps lawyers sign up and join some kind of program, and in a way, they're sort of pseudo private attorneys, but at the same time contracting for the CAP attorney project. It's either that situation or the CAP attorney project just straight up hires lawyers and that's all they do full time. It's one of the two. Or maybe it's both. It's possible that they have some full-time CAP attorneys, and then they have some extras on the side who take cases for a few $100s here and there. It's probably both now that I think about it. Anyway, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I do want to point out that a CAP attorney is not a guardian ad litem, at least not in Nevada. It's a whole separate thing. Maybe I'll cover what those are in another video. If I haven't covered them already, it's possible that I've already covered GALs. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video.